What is up? Welcome to ZachLast.com, and as you can see, I am using a different phone software, and that is because my laptop is, as of right now, it's having a little bit of technical difficulties, and I originally was going to have to stop doing the recaps, but I try to figure a way out of everything, just so that way I can do this recap with you, because I'm trying to do a lot more shows. So, the one that we're going to be talking about today is 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. The current episode that had came out today. So basically, we're just gonna get straightforward to the point because I know phone is a really low storage, and I know phones, they don't really like a lot of space, so I'm gonna try to get straight to the point but not try to rush out the episode, because this episode, I have to say, was by far one of the most juiciest episodes I've seen so far. So it starts off with Ashley changing the locks after finding out that her husband did everything that could have been thought of. I don't want to get too technical with that, but I mean, if it's everything you can think of, I gotta start thinking of what he was doing. But yeah. With that being said, she tried changing the locks, and then after that, she went to her attorney to let it be known that she wants to sign up for a divorce and she wants to let go of that. And I'm like, as much as you try to play this hardcore, like, oh, I don't care, you know deep down inside, like, you still have love for him. You can't just play on a role like, okay, like, after we just started talking, he does this one thing, and don't get me wrong, he's a cheater. He was cheating on her. I'm gonna say he's a cheater, but you never know. But, he did cheat on her. So she's like, okay, like, although, like, you cheated on me once and I'm out. You can't just be out like that. That's not how the real world works. And you know that you still have love for him. So then, therefore, we walk on to our next couple, Pedro and Chantel. And I already have watched the previous episode before. And from what I've seen, they was already in a big situation because apparently Pedro was dancing with his college friend. And his own sister exposed him. But I don't think it was because his sister had anything against him. I think it's that her sister wanted to... I could tell, like, already they don't like Chantel. They want to get her out of that family. So, therefore, they basically already have a little discussion about it. About what happened the other time. And basically saying that if you're so willing to do this, and... they start talking about the Obed situation, and about that Obed is already fully aware that that Chantel's basically being used for a green card, and so that, the family could rely on Pedro. I mean, I'm not here to take sides. I just started watching the show. Like, I don't really know much about it. Gotta definitely get to know more about the cast, because let's just say I did not know that episode was 2 hours long. That was almost exhausting. I almost went to sleep. But it was a good show otherwise, so it was enough for me to understand the Pedro and Chantel situation. And I do believe that Chantel's being used, and she's one of those where she's such a beautiful girl, and I feel like she's going to be the one that is going to be trapped, because she can't see that he's using her. She can't see the red flags. I mean, she sees them, but she's not taking advantage of them. So then we go on to Paola and Ross. Now, Paola is one of the few couples that had just recently gave birth to her child. Now, she's from Colombia, I think, right? Colombia? And her husband's American, which I think that's how the setup for most of the shows. I think, like, it's like an American person and somebody who's out of the United States, and they're a couple. And I think that's how they're a 90 Day Fiance, supposedly happily ever after. But yeah, so it starts off with Paola talking, with Russ, saying that she doesn't want the grandmother holding the baby, and that in fact that it should only be a moment between her and the baby because she's the one who pushed it out. So I'm just going to keep it straightforward like that. I kind of found that quite a bit much, quite a bit selfish. And it's like, if it's other family members, they should be welcoming too, because especially if it's the grandparent. I mean, come on, like that's his mom. And if you're willing to have your own mom hold your own baby, then his mom should be willing. So, you can't just cut out snippets of family. Like, you can't, especially not at a time like that. You can't put your baby in a situation like that. It's not right. So, speaking of a feisty diva that is out of the United States, we walk into Larissa and Colt. But it doesn't necessarily start with Colt, it starts with Colt's mom, Debbie. Which I have to say, I do feel bad for Debbie because they already had gotten to a previous argument about slam the doors, don't slam the doors, stuff like that, and Debbie takes Larissa, I think, to go to the store or something like that, and Larissa's already starting on her bull crap. Why are you being so passive aggressive? Stuff like that, and just picking on her, picking on Debbie, and I'm like, first of all, don't have a car. She is taking you to that store. So if I were you, zip the lip and just keep it quiet. If the mom says she doesn't want to talk to you, keep it quiet. Because at the end of the day, that's her car. And you're the one that's in her car. You don't have a car. So, quit picking the bear. Quit being a diva. Bring it on down. But no, she wanted to keep on talking. Why you gotta be so passive aggressive? I don't care about you. You need to stop, being all disrespectful with me. And Debbie was like, that's it. I had enough. She pulls the car, talks to production. I want to be with her, take her out. Which, me personally, if she was being disrespectful to me and I was Debbie, I would have left her out on the highway. Sorry, that's just... Excuse me. So tired right now. But you get privileges. Basically, you're going to the store. And, that's how you, do her. You don't do no one like that. If she's giving you an opportunity to take a little lift or whatever you call it, that should mean that you don't have an Uber or anything like that. If you want to, get what you need to get, you should have just shut your mouth, because now you're in a predicament where now you're going to have to walk back home, probably. But being nicely production, they gave her a ride home. And she's like, if it wasn't for the cameras, I'll probably be walking on the street, which you probably should have, but I'm evil like that, but it's just people like her, she needs to know her place, especially being that you're not an American, you're not an American citizen, so you need to be more humble. And basically, you need to quit calling Debbie the Wolfie and ship his clothing. It's kind of rude. Just quit being rude to her. So then there you walk on again. I'm just gonna skip onto Andre and Elizabeth, because I think there's a lot of scenes where Chantel and Pedro, but it's I feel like it's deja vu. It's the same scenes all over again, so I guess I'm gonna have to get to the last part. So we're gonna skip on to Andre and Elizabeth. Elizabeth has the baby, and the baby's cute. And however, though, Andre, he doesn't want the family, well, her side of the family there. It was supposed to be a special moment for him and Elizabeth. Kind of sounds similar to Paolo and Russ, but it's supposed to be a special event. However, they did make it negotiable to have the mother be there, which was cute. The mother, it's always good for the mother or the father or anything like that to be there, to see their grandkid. So that was a good moment. And then after that, the sisters came over, and then when he said, the sisters was oh, why are you so pent up? And he's like, oh, I'm trying to protect my child. And I was like, oh no, he's not gonna give him the baby. And I was like, this cannot be good. He's not gonna give him the baby. He's just gonna hold it on. But actually, he gave it to them, and I was like, okay, all right, totally out of my league from what I expected, but That's good. That's how it should be. So then that's when Ashley. Well, actually, we're going to save that part for last. Pedro and Chantel. That's the part that I was going to get to. Pedro and Chantel. So, he finally decided to set up a little meeting with her and his sister and mother, aka the plotters. And as they're talking about like stuff that needs to get resolved, and that it's not just tension coming from this side, it's tension coming from her family too. But I'm like, okay, like that's no excuse. Like if there's still a problem, like it should be up to y'all to solve it right now in Dominican Republic. Start when you get back into Atlanta, the family will at least be in good hands. And basically the mother, she's one of those where she sets down her cultural, rules, where the wife shouldn't just say anything or anything like that, that she should just stay in a wife's place and just let the husband take control. But I'm like, if he can't, take charge of his own relationship right now because he doesn't know how to stay away from women like that, then why does he need to be the man in a relationship and she should just keep her mouth shut? I feel like she's already being nice enough to still even be in his arms right now, basically, just to still be with him. I think she's already being nice enough. So now I feel like you're doing a bit much, Mom. You need to... Because you are not in the relationship, and I kind of do hate moms that be like, oh, you need to stop doing this and stuff like that, and she needs to follow by this. But I'm like, personally, I don't know if she's Dominican or not. Can't even lie. The Spanish there was, you could tell she's still learning, and she basically says it straight up front, it's me and my husband, and that's just that. I'm gonna settle it down with the rules, and this is how it's gonna be, and that's just that. You cannot say nothing about it, and that's how it's gonna be. You can't handle it, and that's your problem. So I'm gonna do me and my husband, and if I feel like he's being snakish, and his college friend is his sister's friend, then yeah, he's not ready to be that man. So that ends that. Now, in the last scene with Jay and Ashley was at ease, I guess, enough to finally show him the divorce papers. He wasn't too happy. He walked out, needed some time to calm down. But eventually, after time, he came back, and she's still on the... And mind you, he's an emotional wreck right now. He's not he's pissed. But she's still on that, hardcore roll. Oh, you're gonna sign the papers? You're gonna sign the papers? And he's like, yes, I'm gonna sign the papers. So he finally signs the papers. Which I was like, oh, it sucks. I did want them to see them become something. It wasn't a bad looking couple. They looked like a good looking couple. So then I guess they signed the papers. They ended from there. And she's like, you need to get your shit and get out. And I was like, okay. She's just not in for it. She's not here to hear none of his stuff. You did what you did in that bathroom, and you need to get out. Get your stuff and get out. And I was like, Jesus. She has it in for him. So, just to find out that if he does go back to Jamaica, that there's a possibility that he can no longer, come back to America, and that's going to be a minimum to 10 years. And I'm like, girl, even though, you are in a situation where you have to divorce him, don't be that cold-hearted, because, there's a possibility where you might not be able to see him, and you just can't be too cold-hearted. You got to be precaution of that. As much as she says she doesn't care, I know she cares, and she needs to care, because that's a big situation. So I think he agreed to staying with his brother in Miami, which was good. That was a good save, because I thought that majority of his family was from Jamaica, so I thought he was for sure going to go right back to Jamaica. But luckily, he had some family support. Thank God, because she was not having it. So she got him his stuff, packed up, left, boom. Now, from what I've seen on the next on, she goes through this thing where I think she got sick or something, and she sees the comfort and support for people who are there. And she says it's good to have this one person, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that that one person is Jay, or at least I hope. Cross fingers. Hope that that's just not reality TV trying to pull its little slickness with its words. But this is how I'm gonna have a little feeling about this. Now I know that this recap was a bit choppy, a bit rushed, but it was because what I don't like about this series is that it's too long. They should have chopped it down to an hour. I would have probably did a good recap on it. But I think I did the recap to the best of my ability. And this is how I feel about the couples so far from the ones that I've seen. The couple that I have to say that will probably might be my favorite one to be looking forward to is Chantel and Pedro. I would like to see what's going to happen with that family. That if it's true that they're going to be using it for the green card, which I do believe. And then I think it was on the next one, he said that I'm going to go get my green card in 10 years and I'm going to leave you. So I was like, get out, Chantel. Get out. Don't, he's using you for that green card. Revealed it. So I was like, yeah. I do still want to see more about that green card with the family, what they're trying to do to her. And I already seen the little promo about their own spinoff, and that looks crazy. It looked like one of them wanted to hit Pedro, and Chantel's parents looked like they were ready to get down, her family. Which I kind of wish that's how Chantel was. I mean, girl, you from the ATL. You should know how to get down. Just saying. But, yeah. That might be my favorite couple. Ashley and Jay, I hope that they, get back together. I do want them to get back together. But Jay needs to really fight hard. He really does. He needs to know what he has is good before it's too gone. And no, before it's too late, it's gone. Paola and Ross, she needs to quit being selfish and let everyone in. That's how I feel about them. Andre and Elizabeth. Andre, I guess they're good. As opposed to Larissa. Oh, I just realized I did not talk about Larissa in Colt. Alright, let me go reel that in. Alright, so Larissa has a conversation with Cole about what happened with their mom, basically. And yeah, so they just finished having a whole showdown about that, and she's like, oh, I need you to defend me. You need to start supporting me whenever I get into a problem with Debbie. And he's like, at the same time, he's in a situation, but he has every right to defend his mom too. And then I think she said something where, oh, are you effing your mom? Because that's what it seems like. And I'm like, ew, gross, disgusting. No. Why would you even say something like that? It's pathetic. So yeah, that was my little short recap on them. And then I think she calls him a fat pig. I'm like, Jesus, you're just crazy. So how I feel about Larissa and Colt, don't like Larissa. I'm not here for Larissa. I feel like if anything, she is the Wolfate and Shitface clothing. Don't like her. And Colt, he needs to just leave. That's how I feel about them. And I think I probably hit just about all the right couples. So yeah, there you have it for 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. And this is not the last recap today. I will be seeing you right back at 1 o'clock to do the Real Housewives of Potomac. So see you soon.